Coach Ronnie Shields. Coach Ronnie, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Another day, another dollar.
Well, God bless you. And we're also being joined by our latest addition to the Fight Saga and War Week Radio team, and that's the protege, the prodigy, Mr. Young Bill. How are you, sir?
It's always good to be talking to Coach Ronnie. Houston connection. The Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, brother. Guys, well, we've got a lot of things happening within the sport of boxing, a lot of things not happening, and I'll be more specific. And guys, I'm sorry, the big story today is that nothing once again has happened in the ongoing soap opera within the heavyweight division of Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, AJ, and Alexander Usyk. And you know, Ronnie, I used to like it a lot better, my beloved boxing, before social media, when we would just wait once a month to read about all of the news in Ring Magazine or KO or whatever. But it's like all of this every single day, the constant questions. And, it's like, how do you deal with it, Coach Ronnie, with the changes from the way it used to be, when you used to actually have to get fight facts for all of your fighter information and you used to wait for the Ring Magazine to come out, to this?
Well, I just don't pay attention to it. But whenever something happens, it happens.
Yep.
If it doesn't happen, I don't worry about it. I mean, I live my life accordingly, one day at a time, and I don't worry about this or that or that or this. I just keep on working every day. Something is going to happen every day. I got other fighters in the gym, and I got guys that have fights coming up. So that's what I worry about. I worry, not worry, but I mean, I get them ready, get them in shape, get them ready to go for their fights. And everything else, if it happens, it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to happen. So I just keep on pushing.
Well, I tell you what, you're a smart man, Coach Ronnie, and that's why you've been in this business for as long as you have without hanging yourself. Jeez, it's rough. This is a tough business. And I tell you what, someone who is allowing the anticipation, get the better of him. And that's Tyson Fury. He recently went online and blasted everyone involved. Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk. He had this to say on his social media. Quote, "Is Dillian Whyte going to fight me? Is Anthony Joshua going to step aside? Let me know, because I'm sick of looking at these bums. I'm sick of listening to their excuses. They're bum dossers. The time is run out of the bottle. You're all getting a good hiding, cowards." End quote. And I think, honestly, and Young Bill, I think he's regurgitating the sentiment of the fans as well. We're all sick of hearing, Coach Ronnie, why on earth did the WBC order this if Dillian Whyte was in arbitration?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. If he's in arbitration, I mean, I think they have to wait until a decision is made before they announce anything.
That's right. Why would they order this? Because obviously he's not going to be happy with the 80-20 split. And more than likely, this is all going to be a complete waste of time. Young Bill, do you have any insight into this situation? Because for the life of me, I mean, I've been in this business for 20 years and I can't figure it out.
Absolutely not. But it's it's kind of eerie that we don't have any news. And you have a purse bid tomorrow, and this is the second or third time it's been pushed. This is the second time that it's been rescheduled. Third time, okay. The third time it's been rescheduled. And you have AJ saying, "I'm a smart man. I make calculated decisions," but no step aside money has been offered. But there's no date for the Usyk and Joshua rematch. So Joe, I don't know. We could be on the verge of something crazy.
Well, and Eddie Hearn said, well, according to Wednesday, January 25th or 26th, expect the unexpected. He said, expect the unexpected, right? What the hell does that mean? I mean, it's like, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? I mean, come on, dude, take the damn fight. Ronnie, what would you do if you were advising Dillian Whyte?
Take the fight. I mean, look, it's a chance for the heavyweight championship of the world. How many guys can say they got that fight, that they have an opportunity to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, and you're squabbling over money? He want a certain amount of money, but he got to understand he's not the champion. He's not going to get the big split that he wants. That's not going to happen. If he's confident in his abilities to win the fight, then take the $5 million or whatever. $5 million. Who in the hell is squabbling about $5 million? I mean, come on, man. That don't make sense. That's crazy. Take the $5 million, and if you win, then you could bitch about, now I deserve to make $20 million.
Yeah, I tell you what, Coach, you make too much sense for the sport of boxing, sir. I tell you what, before we move forward, let's give a shout out to everyone in the queue. Give a shout out to our brother Antonio Luna. This wouldn't be an episode of War Week Radio without the comic relief of Antonio Luna. Charlo fears Canelo, sir. According to Antonio, everyone fears Canelo. I can't wait to hear what comes out of his mouth next. All right. Shout out to Pounds. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Salute to Joe, Young Bill, and Coach Ronnie Shields. Much respect to you, sir. Shout out to Lance Meyer. Thank you for always supporting More Week Radio and Coach Ronnie Shields. Fact or Fiction with Ronnie Shields. Yes, that's coming up in the final half hour. Also give a shout out to our brother Haplotype. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, doesn't Fury have WBC permission for a voluntary before Whyte? In my opinion, this is the only thing that actually makes sense in this scenario. I'm almost thinking they did this and ordered this prematurely, knowing that he was in arbitration, so they could allow Tyson Fury to keep his belt and fight someone else. That's the only thing that makes sense here. Otherwise, I have no clue. Jeez. I want to give a shout out to Halloween, Michael Myers. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Ronnie, Usyk fan here. What's happening with AJ? Do you have any clue? Are you even monitoring this situation, sir?
Not at all, man. I'm like everybody else. They supposed to announce a trainer soon. So just like all the other guys that he's so-called interviewed with, everybody's waiting.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, well, and life goes on, doesn't it, Ronnie?
Oh, absolutely, man. If I was to sit back and look, I've been in this game too long to sit back and wait and, worry about one thing or another in this sport. Look, I have a job. I'm happy with what I do. I'm happy with the fighters that I have, And, hey, we still building champions. That's what we do. We're developing champions at our gym, and that's what we do. We don't sit around and wait for nobody. We have to continue to work. That's what it's all about, working. Working and working hard and, getting these young kids an opportunity to be in the spotlight and to make money, to take care of their families. This is what we do. So we don't sit back and worry about anything.
Living the dream, Coach. Living the dream. I love it. Mini Meal, thank you for joining us. Coach, we finna get Charlo versus Canelo. Finally, update. No news is good news. Thank you for joining us, Mini Meal, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And I have a feeling that that's going to come up during the Fact or Fiction the installment of Fact or Fiction. So please wait for it, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Coach not sweating. Coach ain't sweating nobody. Big Joe. Coach might get her division in 2023. He got another heavyweight.
And there you have it. There you have it. Thank you for joining us, Peter. Salute, gentlemen. Good show. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Also want to give a shout out to Rodney Evans. Rodney, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Also give a shout out to Punch Smollett. Also giving a shout out to Here to There. Salute, Coach Ronnie, YB, and Joseph. And finally, give a shout out to our brother, Toby Bartlett. Thank you so much for joining us and always supporting Coach Ronnie Shields. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot about Hyphy. Thank you so much. Why would Ron lose sleep over AJ when he knows he has a few better fighters under stable at this moment? Very well said, Hyphy. Very well said. So I tell you what, Coach, there was some fight action that happened. Well, hold on. Before we move on, okay, yeah, it was rumored, right, that Anthony Joshua was going to take was getting an offer to step aside 15 to 20 million pounds to make way for an undisputed unification between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Coach, my question to you is, where was the money supposed to come from, and is that matchup even worth 20 million pounds?
Well, apparently they feel it is. I mean, if that was the offer to him, I mean, I don't know that, I mean, that's a lot of money, to offer for step aside, because they must have a hell of a lot of money on the table for Usyk and Tyson Fury if they're going to pay him 15 to 20 million pounds. That's more than American money there.
Yeah, I don't. Where does it come? Where's it coming from, Coach? Because I don't see it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see it either. I don't know. I mean, unless they got some rich billionaire sitting on the sidelines, wanting to see that fight instead of Joshua and Usyk, he want to see Fury and Usyk. I mean, look, I've seen crazier things, but if they offering that kind of money, and then he's a guarantee to fight the winner, I don't know.
I thought it was crazy when Steve Wynn offered your man, Evander Holyfield, and also the gentleman, Buster Douglas, who knocked out Mike Tyson, 32 million or 34 million back then. Right? I thought that was absurd. Now we're talking about $20 million just to step aside, not even to get in the ring. What the hell is the world coming to, Ronnie?
I wish I was on that side.
Oh, geez, I tell you what. But obviously, it was just a rumor, or so we've been told by Anthony Joshua. He had this to say, he said, quote, what's bad about all these interviews I see? I see certain interviews that quoted what I said, and I said to myself, I ain't done no interviews. Where did this person get this information from? I'm hearing people say AJ accepts 15 million to step aside. I ain't signed no contract. I ain't seen no contract. So as it stands, stop listening to the bullshit, yeah? Until it comes from me. I'm the man that controls my destiny. I'm the man that handles my business. I'm a smart individual, and I make calculated decisions every step of the way. Don't listen to the bullshit from other sources. If I tell you something, then you know it's real. End quote. Ronnie, can we just get this over with finally tomorrow, brother?
Hey, you know what? Joshua, he is a guy that handles his own business. So until it comes from him, then, people just need to be quiet and let it happen. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Either he is going to step aside or he isn't. But he's saying he's not. So you got to believe what the man says. It's coming from his mouth. So obviously they must have offered him something, but it wasn't enough for him to say, look, I want to be 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not taking anything, no matter what the offer is. So it's on him.
And there it is. Young Bill, do you have any questions for the esteemed legendary fight trainer this evening, sir?
I just want to know who do you favor, Coach? If AJ is even entertaining offers, Coach, do you think his mind is all the way there for the rematch?
For me, just from talking to him, from the time that I spent with him, Look, he wants Usyk. His mind is set on Usyk, and
Okay.
to me, that's worth more than gold. He has his mind made up that that's who he wants to fight. I've not heard him say anything about anybody else or step aside or nothing. I've only heard him talk about Usyk, and that's who he wants to fight. He wants to, he wants revenge, and I don't blame him.
And there it is. And there it is. I tell you what, Coach, there was some fight action that happened this past weekend. Were you watching the Packers and the 49ers?
No.
Or were you watching the Showtime broadcast? Or did you get to see both? Wasn't it a late start time?
I saw a little bit of both, to tell you the truth. I mean, I saw most of the boxing because the boxing was a really good card.
Yep. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. This past Saturday night, in a brilliant triple header, King Tug had a split draw with Sakarya Lucas. And in the co-main event of the evening, Subriel Matias continued in his winning ways and put a beating on Petros Ananian to improve his record to 18-1 with 18 knockouts. And in the main event, Be Still My Heart, the very green Mark Magsayo fought a one-armed Gary Russell Jr. and took his title from him, capturing the WBC Featherweight Championship. Coach, did you see this one coming?
Well, at the beginning, right, when Russell had both hands, he did better with one hand than he was doing with two. So the injury could have been a godsend for him because he looked so much better with the one hand than he did with the two hands. I mean, that's just the way it is for me. That's the way I saw it. But here's the crazy thing about that fight, right? Why would you announce at the beginning of the fight or, at the press conference or wherever he said it.
That you had an injury.
That he had an injury. And then he won't discuss it till after the fight. That, to me, I didn't like the way that sounded.
No.
Because if you have an injury, you got to hide that injury. You don't want to come out and say, I'm injured, but I'll let y'all know after the fight. I mean, to me, that's looking for a way out. An excuse. That's an excuse to say, I'm going to lose. But the reason I'm going to lose is because I was injured. And he came out pretty good. Both hands pretty good. But it was just all over him. And he didn't know what to do until he got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, I fought with injuries. A lot of people have fought with injuries. And injuries in this day and age are no excuse. If you have an injury and if it's severe enough for you not to fight, don't take the fight.
That's right.
That's the smart thing to do. That's the manly thing to do. He was already a world champion. So what do you have to prove? What is there to prove when you are already a world champion? If it was a fight that say that you wasn't a mandatory for and you got that opportunity to fight for the world title, I understand that. Yes, absolutely. You take an opportunity to fight for the world title. But he's already champion of the world. If you have an injury, what you have to do is go to a doctor, let a doctor examine you, and he says, hey, this is too severe for you to fight. Then you should postpone this until you're better. Look, he only fights once a year anyway, so what's the problem? Once every 2 years ain't gonna hurt you. You can't lose your title because it's a legit injury. So, you know what? You don't have to man up. If you would have got injured during the fight, then you have to man up and fight. And do it with the one hand like you did it. But look, he's claiming that he won the fight. No, he did not win the fight. He didn't win the fight. Look, he fought a hell of a fight, though. I give him a lot of credit because he showed a lot of heart. That, I don't think anybody ever questioned Gary Russell's heart. because all of us know that he has a lot of heart. But to make an excuse at the beginning, that was really tacky on his part. And, and I think he's bigger than that. He's such a good fighter that he didn't have to do that. I think what he should have done, like I said earlier, was, look, go to the doctor. The doctor said, look, man, you can't fight with your arm like this in this position. Then you have to postpone it. You can't lose your title because you postpone a fight and doctors saying that, you are unable to participate. Then the fight had to be put off for a month or two. Then you give yourself an opportunity to come back and show the world, I'm back now. Here it is. This is what it is. But the way he did it, terribly wrong.
Yep. You know what? Very well said, Coach, and very, very insightful take on it. Let me get your take on this, Coach, because post-fight, he told anyone who was willing to listen that Al Haymon purposely didn't want him to win that fight. What say you, sir? I mean, honestly, talk about biting the hand that feeds you.
Man, I can't believe that. It's nowhere in hell that I would think Al Haymon would say anything like that to Gary Russell. It's no way, man. That's, I don't know where he get this from. He can make it up because nobody in the media is going to ever talk to Al Haymon. So, you know what? I can't believe that came out of his mouth.
Well, unfortunately, Coach, when these fighters try to make sense of something that doesn't make sense to them, yeah, you come up with these crazy stories, crazy theories. Yeah, and it just sounds delusional. Teofimo Lopez said the same thing about DAZN. I can't believe you treated us that way. Oh, I can't believe you made my son lose like that. And also Terrence Crawford blaming Bob Arum. Oh, he's racially biased, even though I was the second highest paid fighter in his roster. But yeah, you're racially biased, and I'm not where I need to be. Jeez, Coach, what's going on? Is it another instance where, well, these fighters, their entourage, their posse was whispering all kinds of delusional rubbish in their ears, creating these disgruntled athletes? What say you, Coach? Is that what this is?
I can't believe it, man, that you blame someone else. It's the Terrence Crawford case is a case that has to be played out in court. But for Gary Russell to say what he said, especially about Al Haymon, that's just ridiculous that he would even think something like that. And I just I don't think anybody can believe that. Because you lose, you fought with the injury. Al Haymon didn't fight with the injury, and that's on him. If he's injured, don't fight. Go to the doctor. Let the doctor write you up a script. Turn it into the WBC, and they say, okay, this fight is postponed. What can they do? Nothing can be done. The fight is postponed because of an injury. It's an injury.
Yep, I tell you what, Coach. So what say you? Have we seen the best of Gary Russell Jr.? Or is he going to be back? Will he be back?
You know what? I don't know. Really, Gary is such a good fighter, man. But, this is going to definitely hurt him bad. And he may be able to come back. But if you notice, this was a mandatory defense. So It's not like he got a rematch clause. He doesn't have that.
Nope.
That's right.
That means he got to get back in line. And the line might be long.
And Coach,
so we'll have to see.
What about his inactivity and then adding that with probably having to get shoulder surgery?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The line is long.
That's another year out of the ring, sir.
Absolutely, especially now, because you don't know how much damage he's done to it, because the way he squawked at it when he threw it,
Yep.
and that's
You saw it all over his face.
oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You can see the pain. You can see the pain. So something is wrong, and I commend them for continuing and making it a good fight. But I thought he fought better with the one arm than he did with both.
Wow. You know what? Yeah, after the second half of the fight. Yeah, he was
did.
pivoting
He did so
around
much
him. He's
better.
doing a good job getting that escape route, pivoting to his right, staying out of harm's way, pot shotting him. Yeah, I agree with you. The first 3 rounds, it looked like Messiah was going to bludgeon him
Yeah,
and eventually stop him. Yep.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he made the adjustment. So how did you score that fight, Coach?
Look, I thought Messiah won the fight. At least by 3 rounds. So, but I commend Gary for fighting and for not giving up. He showed a lot of young guys that you can fight through adversity. But it's a fight he didn't win. He could say he won all he wanted to, but the kid just learned him more. And that's what boxing is all about. Who does the most? Who lands the most? I mean, he's not Willie Pep.
Hey, Coach.
Indeed. Young Bill, do you have anything for our coach?
Coach, what's the latest on Charlo Canelo, and what do you think about Canelo going to the Makabu fight in Ohio this Saturday?
Well, I mean, of course he's going there because he wants to fight Makabu, whoever wins, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but I think if Makabu loses, then I don't think he want to fight the other guy. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he's trying to make sure he get his options right. Charlo is not going anywhere. He's going to be there. He's just not sure on if his guy wins that he wants to fight. And if the guy gets injured or whatever, then the fight can't happen in May. Then, I mean, I don't know. Look, but it's so many names that's in the hat right now.
Yep.
They only tell you about a few guys. There's about 5 or 6 names in the hat. So, we'll have to see what happens. But look, again, Jamal, we training, we not doing anything really hard. We just in the gym, just just getting ready like we always do. And if we get the call, we get the call. If not, then we move on to the next fight.
And there it is. Let's go to the comments section. We want to give a shout out to our brother Bill Luke, Big Luke, joining us from New York. He says, so tired of once a year Gare. At this rate, after surgery, it's going to be half a decade before he even fights again. You may be right, Big Luke.
The thing about Gary too is Gary is a really good trainer. He trains his brothers. So he's going to be involved in boxing no matter what happens to his career.
Of course,
he's still going to be involved because he's a smart guy. He knows the sport of boxing, from top to bottom. So look, Gary's not going to lose anything. He has 5 brothers that's fighting, or 4 brothers that's fighting now. So look, Gary's going to be okay.
And there it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, young Bill.
Hey, Coach. One more thing. How long do you see Maxayo keeping that belt if they stick him in there tough, Coach? Because he look, he look green as grass, Coach.
He is green. He's green, but he's a big kid, man. I didn't realize how big he was.
He is a big featherweight.
Yeah,
yep.
I didn't realize he was that big. But I don't think we saw the best of him, to tell you the truth. Look, Gary Russell could give anybody problems.
That's
because
true.
He's so smart. But I don't know how many other guys are that smart to try to fight this kid the way he did. Some kids may some younger guys may think, oh, we go, he's nothing. We go stand up and go get them toe to toe. Trust me, this kid can punch. And Gary just outsmarted him in a lot of ways that, he didn't get a lot of solid punches on Gary. But the kid did enough to win the fight. And that's all that mattered. But let me tell you something. Being a world champion makes you about 30 to 40% better.
Well, it also puts a target on your back, Coach.
But that's what you want. You want that target.
Oh, and that's why you train so hard. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. You love those challenges, don't you?
Absolutely.
I tell you what, yesterday was kind of a commemorative day in the sport of boxing. 13 years ago, yesterday, Sugar Shane Mosley in the Staples Center, in front of a, record attendance at the Staples Center for a boxing match, bludgeoned Antonio Margarito, after they discovered the hand wraps, right?
Yeah.
After brother Nassim Richardson discovered the hand wraps. And Mosley, boy, he just put a licking on him. Do you remember that fight, Coach? And what is your recollection of that fight? And were you a bit shocked that Sugar Shane Mosley bullied the bully and stopped him?
Well, it's an old saying in boxing: styles make fights.
Yep.
And that is so true, because if you look at the way Vernon Forrest beat Shane Mosley, and then the way Shane Mosley beat this guy, that just let you know that the style difference is it's so different. But Margarito, although he was tall, he was made to order for a guy like Shane, because he walked right to him. Anybody that walks right to a guy like Shane Mosley, without using the jab, that's throwing power punches all the time, it's not going to beat him. You got to have a good long jab and throw combinations in order to throw the rhythm of Shane Mosley off. And Margarita didn't have that. He wasn't that kind of guy. He was just a guy that would walk into you, try to hit you and knock you out. And he didn't worry about jabbing and all that. That wasn't his forte. His thing was to come in and throw punches. But them so-called loaded raps that he had, Shane just beat him up.
Oh, beat him up good.
Hey,
do you remember seeing the look on his face as he was bludgeoned and just sitting there when Raul Caiz stepped in, stopped the bout, and he just had that look on his face like he was smiling, trying to play it off like,
Absolutely.
hey, that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. Well, yeah, we all saw that it did, brother. You're seeing stars right now. Jeez. So, young Bill, what was your recollection of that amazing fight that got Sugar Shane Mosley, the Floyd Mayweather showdown?
It was awesome because Margarito was just coming off of, the hype of beating Miguel Cotto, and he was on top of the world, and Shane Mosley was, in his late 30s. So a lot of people thought he was were writing Shane Mosley off because he had lost to Cotto too. So, and going into that, a lot of people were saying Margarito was going to walk through Shane. But if people had seen Shane versus Mayorga, and Shane versus people like Fernando Vargas, Mayorga, and styles that come to you, like Coach Ronnie saying, you knew Shane was a live dog in that fight. And like you said, anybody that comes straight forward to Shane gets beat up. And that's one thing that Shane Mosley loves that type of fight. He loves that type of fight. So I'm glad. I'm glad that the raps were discovered too by Brother Nazim. So it just shows that because it kind of put a damper on Margarito's career once the raps were discovered. People were wondering how long has he been doing it. Yep,
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. I tell you what, it was an historic fight, and that's why we're indeed bringing it up. Yeah, amazing performance by Sugar Shane Mosley. Question for you, Coach, from MRJ. It says, question for Coach Ronnie Shields. Do you regret not convincing Jermell Charlo to remain on your team?
Well, absolutely not. I don't regret anything, any decision I made in my career. I made career decisions. And it was one that, look, I wanted to see him do great. Look, when he was with me, he got to a point to where he didn't have much left but to fight for the world title. I was involved in so much of his matching. I helped match him against different styles that I know that he was going to have to face when he got to the top when he got to the top tier, to fight the top tier fighters,
Mm-hmm.
So he knew how to fight everybody. So he got to that point. But, and I've always wanted to see every guy that I've ever worked with do great. It was no animosity because we split. We split because we just couldn't work together anymore. So, and it happens. It happens in the sport.
Yep.
That's just one thing that happens in the sport. And and I've never, but always wish him well. Just because I can't work with him, that don't mean that I can't root for him.
Hey, coach, and speaking of your matchmaking with him, putting him in there with guys like Demetrius Hopkins and Gabe Rosado back then, coach,
Absolutely.
you put
I asked for those fights. That was me asking for those fights. I
And
asked
there it
for those
is.
fights because that's look, at a certain point in a young guy's career, you have to know whether he's strong enough to handle certain fights. And he handled those fights great. He did great in those fights. So right then and right there, I knew that he was going to be a world champion.
There it is.
Coach.
And there it is. Do you have anything else for the coach before we start Fact or Fiction?
Well, do you want to read this from Jim? You want to change it a little bit, but because I know he doesn't want to talk about that guy. Coach has already said a lot of things about him, and I don't know if coach is okay with this question.
I don't understand what you mean.
Ask the question, bro.
I don't understand. You translate it for no. That's not it. Hold on.
From Jimbo.
I'm sorry, our brother Jimbo. Thank you for joining us, sir. Go ahead. You translate it then for me, brother.
He's asking how was what happened years ago with Andre for $200K relevant to an $8 million unification for Jamal? What's the other options? More regular fighters, or wait another 5 years for Canelo? What's the options for Jamal?
That's what he's saying. Nice translation there. Nice translation there, young Bill. I appreciate that, sir.
Well, first of all, Jamal, the one that Andre was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Jamel. That's number one. Okay, number two. Look, again, who's offering $8 million for Jamal to fight this guy?
That's it.
That ain't nobody coming to us for no $8 million to say that. Nobody said that.
Exactly.
That means Andre can't make a dime. Get Jamal $8 million and he fight for nothing. Bam, it's on.
Because in other words, Jimbo, why would you think that he'd make $8 million fighting Demetrius Andrade, a non-ticket seller, a non-ratings draw? I mean, honestly, the only people who are interested in that matchup are die-hard fight fans who really aren't purchasing these events anyway.
Yeah, you have to pay $300 for pay-per-view to get that fight going on. $8 million. Hey, Coach, who gonna put up the money? Who gonna put $8 million?
Exactly. Coach, where's the money supposed to come from, Coach?
Coach, why would Jamal turn down $8 million, Coach? Jamal fight Godzilla for $8 million, Coach. Jamal is a monster. People, hey, Coach, people keep sleeping on this guy. They say Jamal. What you say, Coach?
It's all talk, man. Look, listen to me. It's all talk, okay? They're not going to put up that kind of money because they don't have that kind of money. And they don't have a network that will put up that kind of money anyway. But look, anyway, this guy's hollering about wait for Canelo for 5 years. Look, when Jamal became the manager for Canelo, Canelo didn't fight him. So look, we moved on. What makes you think we're not going to keep moving on? It's more than one or two fighters out there. We're going to keep on fighting, whether we get the Canelo fight or not. Jamal's career is not stamped by fighting Canelo. Jamal is going to continue to move on in his career. He still can make 160, so we're going to do that. And then when it's time for him to go up to 168, there's plenty of fighters out there that we can fight. Maybe not somebody that you want to see us fight, but look, it's still, he's going to keep fighting. He's going to continue to take care of his family the way he's been doing. He's going to continue to fight. Simple as that. So let Andre go out and keep fighting who he's fighting. Let him go make $8 million fighting somebody else.
And there it is. And there it is, Coach. So thank you, Jimbo. I appreciate you joining the show. Thank you for your question. But come on, guys. You need to stop the chatter on YouTube because it's creating some really crazy things, man. Come on now.
$8 million.
I mean, guys, the days of the blank checkbook from DAZN are long gone. Or haven't you noticed by their lackluster schedule? I mean, come on. As much as I have respect for every single fighter who's brave enough to lace them up in the ring and step in the ring for and take punishment for our entertainment, I'm sorry. Some of these matchups, geez. Danny Jacobs versus John Ryder?
Hey, Coach, can I speak on that? Did you ever get an offer? Did Jamal ever get an offer to fight Danny Jacobs? Because somebody, Coach, I'm not going to say, I just know Jamal is not ducking anybody, Coach. So when people tell me that he turned down Danny Jacobs and all this, I said Danny Jacobs went to the zone. Remember, after he left HBO, he went straight to Matchroom, even though he was still dealing with Haymon. So when did y'all ever get an offer for Danny Jacobs?
If they got an offer, nobody ever told me about it. So here's the thing with Danny Jacobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He called himself being smart, and he went to the zone because he saw Canelo go there, he saw Andre go there, he saw Triple G go there, and he said, he thought, hey, man, I can run over there, and he did. That's why he went over there. He went over there because at the time, Eddie Hearn had to get fighters over there so he can keep that money going. And Danny Jacobs got $15 million fighting Canelo. That's a hell of a lot of money. But that's when they started up. Now, he couldn't get $1,500 right now.
That's right. That's right. The days of the blank checkbook are long gone, Coach, for the zone. Okay. And once again, their commitment to the American market is really almost vanished. When you look at the matchups, I mean, they're really not spending a lot of money on these matchups in America. And so once again, it'll really shock me if the zone actually attempts to win the purse bid tomorrow, right? Coming full circle with our initial. And so once again, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm having some time. Okay, here it is. Jimbo says, respect for answering the question, Coach. Will you train my boy AJ? Oh, Coach, what say you, sir?
That's up to AJ. AJ, you know where I am.
That's it. Stafford, Texas. Top Dog has the beat. He says, just want to shout out to Coach Ronnie Shields for doing these interviews and free conversations for the boxing community. That's right, brother. He does this for the real bosses of boxing, the fans, right? And that's it. Want to thank you, Ronnie, for always doing this every single Tuesday, sir. But guys, once again, I'm just going to say this one last thing, okay? Because Jimbo brings this up. Eddie Hearn sent the offer. Andre told him to call his bluff. He said, I made him an offer for $7 million. I sent it to his cell phone. Look, he knows if he wants to make a deal with any one of Al Haymon's fighters, he contacts Al Haymon. Eddie Hearn knows this. Do you really think he was trying to make a deal via text message? Really? Do you guys really think that? And once again, man, you guys, come on, man. Jeez, use your heads, guys. It's like, do you guys really believe everything that you see on YouTube? Come on now.
Man, look.
Jeez.
Hey, Coach, Jamal Charlo wanted that Danny Jacobs fight. I guarantee you. I believe it with a wholehearted. Coach, is that true? Did Jamal Charlo really want Danny Jacobs fight?
He not only want Jamal wants anybody that they put in the ring with him.
That's it, guys.
Jamal is not a hard guy to, when you talk about money, right? This is a sport about money. And it's just simple as, plain and simple as that. But every fight can't be made. I mean, it's just simple as that. Jamal, yes, he wanted to fight Danny Jacobs. He did want to fight him. But look, when, it got to be the right time for everybody. And Was Danny ready at the time? I don't know. Was Jamal ready at the time? Always. So, but again, when the zone came up, you know, a lot of the guys scooted there because they knew the money was going to be there at the beginning. They didn't know how long it was going to last.
Inflated
They
purses
didn't know
just
how
to
long it was
attract
going to
talent.
last. But they
Yep.
ran like rabid dogs.
I tell you what, before we move forward, Coach, I do have to ask you because there were some other fights, some other performances past Saturday on Showtime. Coach, how good is Subriel Matias? And how far do you see him going at 140?
Monster.
Well, yeah, he's really good. I mean,
Monster.
man, you know, you have to really be a big puncher to keep this kid off of you. This kid is in shape. He's ready to go. He throws punches like crazy. I mean, wow, I was really impressed with this kid. But I did see the first fight when he fought the rematch. But the first fight, I saw him, and when he got beat, but I always thought that he can come back and win. He made some adjustments, and the adjustments really paid off for him. And you could see, man, like this kid, you know, he said to himself, "I can't punch," but he got 18 knockouts. Bullshit, he could punch. But not only that, he throw punches.
Yep.
This kid, I mean, he was ripping punches back and forth. He was letting his hands go. You know, but you have to fight an intelligent fight against a guy like him. You know, there's still a lot of styles out there that I think will give him trouble. But he just needs to keep getting that experience. They just can't keep putting him in there with guys that's going to stand in front of him. What about guys that's going to, you know, go left, go right, come in, come out? You know, everybody's not going to fight him the same way. So he's not going to look as good with a pure boxer as he does with a guy that's just going to stand right in front of him and throw punches. You know, but he really impressed. But I got to see him fight a guy that goes side to side. What can he do with that kind of style?
Wow, that's an excellent proposition. Yeah, and I hope we get to see it. I mean, tell you what, though, the future looks promising at 140 for Subriel Matias, and I can't wait to see him again in the ring. And that's the most important part of staying active, Coach. You know, and some of these fighters just are not active enough to become those marquee attractions. You know, it's all about staying active. Sid UK has the beat, right? Sid UK has the beat. The always insightful Sid UK. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for joining us. He says, we like Eddie Hearn here in the UK, but call him a used car salesman. Don't trust his claims. I doubt his own wife trusts his word and probably gets things put in writing from him. You know what, brother? Excellent comment. Excellent comment, brother. And yes, he's got the beat. CB3, thank you for joining us, supporting the channel. Thank you so much, sir. And once again, before we actually start Fact or Fiction, our brother Top Dog has the beat. Ronnie clearing all of the fake rumors and narratives tonight. Thank you, sir. Yes, he is. So are you ready, Coach, for Fact or Fiction? Are you ready, young Bill?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear Coach's answers.
And so, guys, if you want to play along with us, the questions of Fact or Fiction, or I should say the prognostications and predictions, are in the description on YouTube, okay? So just click the description and play along with us, please. Number one, Coach, are you ready?
Let's do it.
After all the posturing and negotiating, fans will end up seeing Fury versus Helenius in April or May. Fact or Fiction?
Fiction.
God, I hope so. Oh, as you were, though, Coach. What do you think, sir?
No, I mean, I said, you know, with all this bickering going on with Dylan Whyte, you know, and I just think he's going to end up fighting. I really do. I really think he's going to end up fighting. So I think somebody in their camp are going to say, look, man, do you think you can win the fight? Of course, being a fighter, yes, I can win the fight. I can knock him up. Okay, we're going to take the $5 million and we're going to go fight Tyson Fury. Simple as that.
You know, you just can't fathom any fighter turning down $5.5 million and the opportunity to face the man of the heavyweight division. You just can't see it, can you?
Can't say it. I mean that's just crazy. You know, he's. I know he do a lot of stuff himself, all his negotiations and all this other stuff. But somebody gotta knock his ass over the head and say, "Look, dummy, take the goddamn money."
Coach. Yeah.
What you say, Coach? What needs to happen, Coach?
Somebody needs to knock his ass over the head and say, "Look, dummy, take the goddamn money."
You know what? You almost did sound like Fred Sanford right there. You big dummy, Lamont. How would you like it if I put 5 across your lip? Oh, that was great, Coach. I love it. Number 2, Coach. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury is a bigger mainstream fight than Fury versus AJ or Usyk in America. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I don't even know who the hell he is.
Hey, Coach. Coach, you don't know Francis Ngannou, Coach.
That is the current, and I love that response because I hate me some UFC. I hate it. Like, honestly, I can't stand it. Okay, but that is the heavyweight UFC title holder at this time, who is have been tinkering around with Tyson Fury, going back and forth, trying to put together a heavyweight crossover event, boxing versus MMA, boxing rules in the squared circle.
Never.
Yep, I hope not. Honestly, because once again, after seeing Francis Ngannou fail to actually land a clean shot against another MMA fighter for 5 5-minute rounds, right? Yeah, I have no desire to see Tyson Fury bludgeon this poor man. Seriously, I have no desire to see it. Hold on just a moment.
Hey, Coach.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that, guys. I had to sneeze. My apologies. Go ahead, young Bill. Sorry.
No. I was just going to ask him about Coach is not a fan of UFC. I see.
Not at all.
No, man, I can't stand it. It's just not a gentleman's sport. You know what? In boxing, and once again, this is what I love and respect about the sport of boxing. You hurt your man, right? You knock him down. You go to the neutral corner and you give him time to recover, right? All right.
Yeah.
In UFC, you knock your man down. You commence to getting on top of him, and you bludgeon him until the ref jumps in and pulls you off. Boy, that's fun, right? Isn't that fun to see, Coach?
I'm
Jeez.
surprised they don't have as many depths in the ring as boxing.
Well, see, that's what I don't like about the product, because it's a big safety issue, right? So whenever you see someone jump on top of him and start just hammering him in the head, well, the ref is ultimately going to jump in and pull him off of you. Okay, game over. You don't give your opponent the opportunity to recover.
Right.
And once again, that's why I love boxing. This is why these guys train. Give them a chance to recover. How many opportunities do you get at the pinnacle of boxing, right? Give the man a chance to recover. Yep. Fight through adversity. That's what we love to see. We love that drama. And once again, when you allow your opponent to recover or at least try to recover and fight through adversity, that's what creates the drama. That's why we watch, right?
Absolutely.
And there it is. So number 3, Coach, Gary Russell Jr. will be put on ice for the remainder of his advisory deal with Al Haymon. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's a tough one. That might be a fact, but look, he only fights once a year anyway, and so with this injury, that's another year. So we'll see him in 2024.
Hey, Coach, he's ice skating anyway. He's already on ice.
Yeah. So we'll see him in 2024. We'll see him in 2024.
The reason why I brought this up, Coach, is because of what happened to poor Vanya Martirosyan. Well, when he came out with a lot of negative sentiment towards Al Haymon. Yeah, he's like, oh, really? Okay. Well, if you feel that way. And once again, every promoter does it. Top Rank has done it with Mikey Garcia.
Woo!
Everyone's done it. Yeah. If you're a pain in the ass, well, hey, man, I hope you like sitting on the pine because that's where you're going to be for the next couple of years. Right? Number 4, Makabu versus Mchunu. This Saturday night will perform better than Ortiz versus Martin on pay-per-view, largely due to Canelo attending the event in Warren, Ohio. Fact or fiction, Coach?
Well, that could be a fact only because Canelo is going to be there.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you know, of course, people going to want to, you know, not come to even see that fight. They want to come and get a good look at Canelo, maybe get a picture or something like that. You know, look, you know, but I just don't see a lot of people paying for this anything to go see this fight anyway. And, you know, and it's a Don King event.
Yep.
So, you know, so who wants to see a Don King event?
Wow. You mean, wait a minute, Coach. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you're not interested in Trevor Bryan versus Jonathan Guidry?
Coach!
For the WBA regular heavyweight title, brother?
The Trevor Bryan's the last American heavyweight champ, Coach.
Well, I don't know either one of them. Come on, Guidry.
Ali.
I want to give a shout out to our brother, No Paul Botsayanos. Thank you for joining us, sir. God bless you, brother. I also want to give a shout out to JC. Thank you for joining us, sir. God bless you, brother. Go ahead, young Bill. I'm sorry.
No, listen, Coach is very blunt today, like head trauma.
Oh, as blunt as a shovel. And we love it that way. We love it that way, Coach. Number 5. Are you ready, sir?
Let's do it.
Juan Francisco El Gallo Estrada will never be the same after battling with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez twice and after battling the COVID Omicron variant. Fact or fiction?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say fiction on that one.
I hope so, Coach. I hope
I'm
so.
gonna say fiction on that one.
Ooh.
You know, look, these guys, you know, I mean, look, they've been fighting each other. They know each other. So it's you know, neither one of them are gonna show you something different. It's the same fight over and over and over. So, you know, I don't see it.
The same fight over and over. Oh, Coach.
It is.
Well,
come on, man.
let me ask you this. What do you think of, and once again, I am so happy that Julio Cesar Martinez stepped up to fight Chocolatito Gonzalez. This is actually a great matchup. Who do you think wins this? Or is this another case of the same fight over and over again at 115 in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, let me tell you something. You know, those guys, those small guys, right?
Yep. The Superflies.
Yeah.
Yep.
They throw a hell of a lot of punches.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to throw punches. And that's why it's the same fight, because look, you know, it's no boxing and, you know, bobbing and weaving and slipping and doing those. They're standing going toe to toe. Shit, they could do that shit for 20 rounds if they had to.
It's like getting pelted with BBs, isn't it, Coach?
Absolutely, man. It's, you know, look, those smaller weight classes, man, look, they have the most exciting fights.
They do.
Those guys fight. They fight.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they actually fight. And that's why I say it's the same fight over and over, because that's what they do.
Yep.
You know, they stand toe to toe and they just go at it. There's no going left, going right, going back, going forward. No, it's going forward. They like two bulls trying to fight each other.
Yep.
And that's the way it is.
Yep, Coach, it's not hit and not get hit. It's hit and hit some more.
That's it.
Well, God bless him. I love the Superflies, but yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah, seen one fight. You've seen most of them. But look, I will say this. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, he's a special fighter. And yeah, Julio Cesar Martinez is a tough piece of meat. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. So we'll see it. But I tell you what, congratulations and thank God for Julio Cesar Martinez for saving this card. The only shining moment on the DAZN calendar thus far, March 5th. Okay? That's what I will say about that. Number 6, Coach. Rolly Romero will threaten to quit the sport of boxing at least 2 times before meeting Tank Davis in the ring later this year. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I say 3 times.
Oh my
You
gosh,
know what, man?
Coach.
Let me tell you something. I love this kid, Rolly. I do, man. I love this kid. He's a, he's a different individual. He's very different.
Do you mean small bus different? Is that what you're saying, Coach?
Yes. Look, man. I talked to this kid, and he is. Ooh, oh my God.
Yep.
This kid is no joke.
Hey,
He's not only is a good fighter, but he's crazy as hell, inside and outside the ring. So,
young Bill, your thoughts on the upcoming Rolly Romero Tank Davis fight that was just ordered by the WBA? Now, Ronnie, let me ask you this before young Bill chimes in. Was there any need for the WBA to order this?
Yeah, that was kind of strange because
we could have made the damn fight anyway.
The thing about it is they both are with Mayweather Promotions, right?
Yep.
So, you shouldn't have to order that. I mean, if these guys want to fight, let them fight. I mean, they was going to fight at one time until Rolly got in trouble. But, all of a sudden that case got dropped.
He was vindicated. That's right.
So now, you don't have to order it. They want to fight, so let them fight.
Yep. Young Bill, do you like this matchup, sir? Do you like this fight?
It's gonna be Coach. I mean, like in coaching, and Joe, that the fight is all about build up and promotion and sales. And he said that he loves this kid. You see the excitement that Rolly brings. He's called Devin Haney the Amir Khan at 135. He said Rolly has something to say, and he wore a mink outside in LA in the build up, and he just brings it out of Tank, Coach. And I think you see Tank threaten him at the press conference when Tank doesn't really talk a lot. He makes Tank want to have a 5-minute soliloquy at the press conference. So for me, the build up is going to be just as good as the fight. It's going to be a knockout. We know this fight is ended in a knockout. That's what fans want to see.
I really wish I shared your affinity, man, for his brand of trash talk, because in my opinion, they really should dub this fight on the fight poster Dumb and Dumber. Seriously, because that's how they sounded at the first press conference, and that's how they're going to sound again. I mean, come on, guys. Look, and once again, I have so much respect for anyone who laces up the gloves and steps foot in the ring, but come on, this guy is about as sharp as a marble. Come on.
Well, I got to tell you, man. Let me tell you something, man. I know both of them. I've spoken to both of them. Both of them are really good guys. But, but look, when you have to put your game face on, everything goes. So whatever comes out of your mouth, it comes out of your mouth, But they believe whatever they say. And that's what I can say about that. But both guys are really good guys. They really are. But they just believe in themselves. Both of them believe, and they both have knockout power. So don't get it wrong that, both of these guys can punch. And, I think Tank could probably have fought the better competition. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to lean toward Tank as far as that's concerned. But you can't count Rolly out because Rolly can fight.
Okay, cool.
Well, I tell you what, we look forward to hearing the official announcement very, very soon. Sid UK adds this: Rolly was wearing a raccoon skin coat. Where was the animal rights people? You know what, brother? That wouldn't surprise me. He really hasn't made any real coin yet. So it could have been raccoon or muskrat or something like that. Number 7, Coach, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Mark Mugsayo will be one and done as the WBC featherweight champion. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I like this kid,
Wow.
man. This kid can fight. I mean, I really like this kid's style. Like I say, he's a big featherweight, and he's going to be big. I don't care who it is. He's going to be bigger than anybody they put him in there with. And I think with Gary Russell's experience and his style was just a little bit, threw him off a little bit. I really think this kid, man, he's going to show what he's really made of. And I really like him. And I think he's going to be around for a little while. For as long as he can hold that weight.
Well, I tell you what, the Filipino fans surely share that sentiment because they really came out and supported him on this night. At least online they did. Number 8 coach, Subriel Matias, will become a world champion in 2022. Fact or fiction?
I don't know. I'm going to say fiction. Yeah, and the only reason I say fiction is because, the kid he just beat, he lost to him also. So, it really didn't, it's not like a ranking jump, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, understood.
But it's so many other styles out there that I want to see him fight, before I say, look, he's a really good fighter and he has the potential to be a world champion. But, you got to know how to fight every style. You can't just keep fighting the same style that makes you look good.
Of course.
Remember, he lost the first fight. So, he just came back and avenged that fight. But can he fight a boxer that goes side to side, that knows how to tie him up, step around? There's styles out there that can make him not throw as many punches as he's throwing.
Truth. Yep.
So, so he got to, once I see him fight somebody like that, then I can tell you this guy is going to be a champion. But right now, I can't see it right now.
Well, I tell you what, his handlers seem to think so. He's fighting at the 12-round stage already. So I'll tell you what, he better be ready for anything.
But but the thing, again, the thing about it is, yes, he can fight. I mean, you can see he trains hard. He's in great shape always. You see
Absolutely,
that.
Coach.
But there's styles out there that can make him throw less punches.
That is true.
So how does he get a rhythm when you throw less punches? He got a good rhythm throwing a lot of punches.
Okay, so I guess my question, Ronnie, to you is, why didn't they find this out when he was still at the 4, 6, and 8 round stages? Why wait till the 12-round stage to find out?
Well, I mean, look,
because to me that sounds like they really didn't do a good job matchmaking him on the way up, because that's what the 4, 6, and 8 round stages are for.
Yeah, but but still, yes. I mean that is, but again, I guess when they put him in with this guy the first time, and they saw, I mean, this guy was really ready for him the first time. Not to say he wasn't really ready for him this fight, but he was in better shape this time, and sometimes it becomes easier to know the guy's style because the guy only fights one way. If this guy had ability to stay on the outside and box a little bit, maybe he could have threw him off a little bit, but he didn't. He only fought that one way. But again, my thing is, what happens now when you're going with the same attitude as if I'm gonna throw 1,000 punches around, but your opponent gonna say, no, not against me. You're not gonna do that against me because I'm not gonna stand right in front of you and let you just well away. I'm gonna move side to side on you. You're gonna have to come get me. So, but can he fight that way? That's the thing. We know he can box.
Yep. Well, I understand
far?
what you're saying, Coach. And you know what? I would love to see that. I would love to see him see how he actually handles that kind of style. We're going to find that out on February 26th when we see Gary Antoine Russell fight that kind of style in Victor Postal. Do you like that matchup, Coach?
I love that matchup. I love that matchup. And I'm gonna go with Gary. Is it Gary Antonio Russell? Is that the one?
Gary Antoine Russell.
Antoine.
Yep.
Gary Antoine. Yeah. I like Gary Antoine Russell. You know, this kid, he's really good.
Yep.
You know, and I know Victor Postal, but Postal he's good. But I just think Russell he's gonna outbox him.
And there it is. Let's see. Number 9, Coach. Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. will indeed unify the WBO, WBC, and IBF light heavyweight titles this summer. Fact or fiction?
I think it's fiction. You know, still, people forget these guys are mandatory. You know, people forget the mandatories. They, you know, sometimes, you know, you've been having a guy that's been waiting in the number one position for a very long time and haven't got a shot. Then all of a sudden you want to unify. But, you know, these, you know, again, it's going to take a lot of money to make these guys step aside to get a unification. So I don't see it happening.
Yeah, you know what? Until Arthur Beterbiev, you know, starts to look old. Yeah, I don't see any of these guys like really eager to step in the ring with him and, well, put up their version of the title up for grabs, right? I think they're happy with their version of their title around their waist. Number 10, Coach, finally, Jaron Boots Ennis is absolutely correct when he labels Canelo versus Charlo a 50-50 fight. Fact or fiction?
It's a fact. It's a fact. You know, again, you know, you got to styles make fights. You know, and you got 2 guys, you know, who got 2 very exciting styles. But, you know, you have guys that, you know, they both can take a punch. They both prove that in their recent fights. And look, you got 2 young guys too. They, you know, they're both 31, 32 years old. And they're in the prime. And they have a lot to prove. You know, the thing about it is, in this sport, when you stop having a lot to prove, it's time for you to get out.
That's very well said, Coach. Very insightful stuff. And I tell you what, we look forward to seeing, well, a little bit of resolution this Saturday night. And honestly, to me, that's, in my opinion, the most intriguing part of watching Makabu versus Mchunu is to find out, well, who the hell is Canelo going to face Cinco de Mayo weekend this year? Like, I think this fight is going to determine all of that, in my opinion. So before we actually move forward, there is a, well, first of all, let's give a shout out to John McSmith. Thank you for joining us, sir. Shout out to you, brother. Also give a shout out to Abadayo Samuel. Rolly style doesn't even make sense. Rolly doesn't make sense half the time. I only want to give a shout out to Truth Bomb. Yes, I agree. This show is straight fire, my friend. Thank you for always supporting the show, sir. Here to there, comment says, Coach Ronnie, how do you see a Joe Smith Jr. versus Anthony Yard fight playing out? Once again, you mentioned his mandatory. That's his mandatory. How do you see that fight playing out? I love it.
I love it too, you know. Look, Anthony Yard is a good fighter, but Joe Smith is also, you know, I mean, to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I mean, it really is. But if I'm leaning toward anybody, I'm leaning toward Joe Smith.
I figured that, Coach.
Yep. I tell you what, give a shout out to our brother IB. Thank you for joining us, sir. I tell you what, I'm a little under the weather. No sweet amber for me this evening, brother. But kudos to you, my friend. Kudos to you, my friend. But also, once again, this would not be an episode of War Week Radio and Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields without the comic relief of Antonio Luna. Floyd Mayweather fears Dr. Seuss books. Ouch, brother. That's cold-blooded, man. Shoot. I thought you were going to say Rolly Ramiro fears Dr. Seuss books for a second. I'm sorry. Young Bill, please close us out, sir. Whatever you have for the coach, whatever current events, whatever you want to ask him, sir, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Coach, what do you think about Joe Smith saying that that they're in negotiations with Arthur Beterbiev for
Well,
unification?
you can be in negotiations, but unless until the powers that be tell you that it can happen, then it can happen. But still, with the mandatories, what they gonna do with the mandatory? You know,
Mm,
that's the thing. When you're mandatory, you know, you have a lot of say so in either you're gonna step aside or you're not gonna step aside. And when you talk about step aside, they want to know how much money are you going to pay for me to step aside, if it comes to that. But I think, they could talk all they want to right now, and there's nothing wrong with them talking between the two camps. Nothing wrong with that. But when you get the boxing, the sanctioning boxing body behind it, then it's a lot has to be said because what you're going to tell Yarde?
mm. Yeah, they might. Do you think they have to pay him step aside, Coach?
They're gonna have to pay him step aside. You know, I mean, because this guy, if not, if they said, okay, we're gonna let this fight happen, and this guy is the mandatory, and they saying he's the mandatory, then you know what? He's gonna sue both of them.
Mm. Hey, Coach, when can we expect David Morrell to be back in the ring?
Matter of fact, I talked to David last night. He said he's feeling good right now. He's just getting back in the gym, starting, to do his conditioning now. So hopefully around May or June.
May or June? Do you know? Do you want him to? So, Coach, how do you want to move David Morrell going forward? Are you going to be picking? You want to pick certain fights for him, or is
Well,
Allen?
what they do is they send me opponent names. They send me names, and they'll tell me who they like, and they'll say, "Tell me who you like," and then we go that way. But
Okay.
other than that, yeah, I don't know right now because, like I said, I haven't got anything yet. So
Okay. And what is up, my boy? What's up with my boy Apoche, Coach, against Glenn? What's the
Poach is
latest on that one?
he's in the gym working hard. We're just still waiting to hear. We're still waiting to hear what's going to happen. So hopefully we can get Glanton back in the ring soon. If not, then we have to look at somebody else and just keep this kid busy until that fight happens.
Okay, and Coach, this is my last one. If you don't get the Canelo fight and Jamal doesn't get the Canelo fight, how long do you see Jamal staying at 160?
Maybe for another fight or two.
Okay. Yeah, and Coach, I can come. I want to come to the gym on Thursday. I have something to do tomorrow, but can I come before 9:30 a.m. About 9:30 on Thursday morning?
Sure, we'll be there.
Okay. So I'll just get there before 9:30.
Hey, we start at 9. If you want to get there at 9:30, it's up to you.
Okay. All right, Coach. Consider it done. I just want to ask you on air, so to let you know I'm really gonna come. Joe
Awesome.
presses me. Hey,
Okay.
go see Ronnie. Go by Ronnie's gym. All right, Coach.
God bless you, young Bill. And tell you what, one final comment from our brother Lance Meyer. I do not want Tank to fight a name. I do not want it Sam I Am. I do not want it on a train. I do not want it on a plane, but I'll fight on a helicopter pad, though. Oh, geez, just piling on poor Floyd Mayweather Jr. You mean people. I tell you what, that's why we love you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting the
Coach,
show.
I have one more. Sorry, before you go, Joe. One of my
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
One of my subs wanted me to ask you, Coach, who was the hardest puncher and the hardest fighter you ever faced in your career?
Hardest puncher was man, I can't think. Oh man. What's his name? Oh man, I'm gonna have to get back on that one. I can't think of his name. I can't think of it. I've been out the ring too long.
And Coach, what's the toughest fight you ever had?
Oh, okay, look. Here, I got it right now. The toughest fight I ever had, hardest punch I ever fought, was against Monroe Brooks. Look after Monroe Brooks, look at his record. You say he fought with Berto Duran. He fought a bunch of guys. Monroe Brooks, okay.
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 Well, I tell you what, I'm pulling it up right now, sir. Tell you what, let's check out. By the way, Coach, I thought you beat Tsuyoshi Hamada, sir.
Me too.
I thought you should have won the championship, sir.
Absolutely.
Monroe Brooks, boy, he was a fight veteran, and that was at the
Yes, he
old
was.
Reunion Arena in Dallas, home
Yep.
of the Mavericks.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was 50-5 when you fought him, Coach.
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
beat him in a UD, 10-round UD. So that guy could crack, huh?
Let me tell you something. In the very first round, the dude hit me with a right hook and busted my eardrum. I couldn't hear the whole fight. My coaches were trying to tell me something, and it was like, wong, 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 wong. That's all I heard.
Hey, Coach, was he
I
a
couldn't hear
southpaw?
nothing.
Was Monroe Brooks a southpaw?
No,
Orthodox.
right-hander. He was
So-
orthodox, but one of the best left hooks in the business.
Wow. And so, yeah, your trainer sounded like the teacher from the Peanuts, Charlie Brown cartoons, huh?
Exactly.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, I tell you, I had to fight that one on blood and guts that night.
Wow,
so
I tell you
he was
what.
the hardest. So, Coach, was he the hardest puncher and your toughest fight?
I don't know if he was my toughest fight, but well, yeah, he was. He was one of my top two toughest.
All right. Well, who's the other the toughest fight, Coach?
His name was Bruce Curry.
Bruce
out of
Curry.
Fort Worth, Texas. Donald Curry's brother.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Coach, people are expecting to hear Tommy Hearns and stuff, Coach. You
Well,
fought
I never
Tommy
fought
Hearns?
Tom in the pros. Tom and I
Okay.
only fought in the amateurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. Oh, jeez. Tommy with those little 8-ounce gloves, man. Oof. Jeez.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that one, Coach. Well, that guy had a sledgehammer for a right hand. Jeez. So I tell you what, final shout outs to our brother boxing historian. Salute Joseph, salute YB, and salute Coach Ronnie Shields. Thank you for joining us, sir. Guys, I tell you what, want to thank you all for joining us. In case you missed any part of this program, it'll be available in its entirety as soon as we sign off. Young Bill, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
Oh yes. I'm looking forward to this Saturday to see what Canelo does. I'm hoping that he picks Jamal Charlo because I know this is a real fight, and it's just great to be on this platform to talk to the Hall of Famer Ronnie Shields once a week and to be doing working with Fight Saga and War Week Radio. Thank you, Joe.
We love having you on board. Thank you, Young Bill. You're an awesome addition to the team. I'll say this. I'm looking forward to, the enthralling, the thrilling heavyweight scrap between Trevor Bryan and Jonathan Guidry. I can't wait.
Woo!
That's the reason why I'm going to purchase it. Okay, Woo! Coach Ronnie, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience there?
Yes, keep listening to us every Tuesday night. And you can follow me at official Ronnie Shields.
And there it is. And there it is. Coach, we want to thank you for joining us once again and giving us all of your pearls of wisdom. And thank you for today shutting down some of those bogus narratives floating around on YouTube. God bless you for that, sir.
You know what, Coach? And everybody in the chat that comes late and here's the playback, Coach seriously doesn't know who the hell Francis Ngannou is. That's what he said.
Yeah. Woo! I love it. Guys, on behalf of Young Bill, on behalf of the legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to Real